Hello, my math independent study student. In this video, we are going to dividing rational expression. So let's begin to divide now. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to set the restriction for our domain. So I'm going to set up the two domains. The first one is r squared plus 11r plus 30 cannot be equal to 0. And the second domain is r squared minus r minus 32 cannot be equal to 0. Then next step we are going to factors, and then finally we can conclude set each factor equals 0, and we can conclude that r cannot be equal something. So let's begin now. So I'm going to go ahead and get a square. So let's start with put the r square on the top left corner, and then 30 at the bottom right corner of this 2 by 2 box. I'm going to go ahead and multiply these two, so that give me 30r squared. I'm going to try to find the factor, and the sum of the two factors must be equal to 11r. So we know that 6 times 5 is 30, so this will be 6r and this will be 5r. So I'm going to put 6r and 5r. So next step, I'm going to row number 1. I'm going to go ahead and find, so this is the row right now. So I'm going to find the greatest common factors. So the first one will be r, the next row will be 5. And let's move on to the column. So I'm going to take the term inside divided by the common factor outside. So r squared divided by r should be r. 6r divided by r, so that should be 6. So therefore we have our two factors right now should be r plus 5 and r plus 6. So we can conclude that r cannot equal to negative 5 or negative 6. So the opposite. So now I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to go ahead and get a box again for my second denominator, or a square, and put r square on the top left corners, and then negative 42 at in the bottom right corner of the 2 by 2 box. So we go ahead and multiply, so this will give us negative 42 r to the power 2, and when you find the factors, and make sure that the sum of the factor have to be equal negative r. So therefore negative 7r times 6r will be negative 42r squared, and if we find the sum, that will give us negative 1r. So put here negative 7r, and this is 6r. Now I'm going to go back to the row now. So row 1, row 2. So row 1, the greatest common factor is r. Row 2, the greatest common factor is 6. And then let's go to the column. So take inside, the term inside, divide by the greatest common factor outside. So r squared divided by r, that gives us r. Negative 7r divided by r, that gives us negative 7. So therefore the factor will be x plus 6. R plus 6 and r minus 7. So therefore we can conclude that r cannot be equal to negative 6, which we have here, and r cannot be equal to positive 7. Okay, so now we set up the domain. So the next step we are going to do that we go ahead and keep the first fraction the same, and we flip the second fraction, and then we will multiply. So the first fraction, we keep them the same, so I'm going to go ahead and, so we have r squared minus 14r plus 45 over r squared plus 11r plus 30. Now we're going to flip and multiply the second fraction. So that will give us r squared minus r minus 42, and then r squared minus 16r plus 63. Okay, next step, we are going to factor each one of the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so let's start with the r squared minus 14r plus 45. So I'm going to go ahead and continue right here. I'm going to sketch a square, and in the top left corner put r squared. In the bottom right corner put 45. So I'm going to multiply this to give the two terms 45 r squared. And we're going to find the factor and make sure that the sum of the two factors have to be equal to negative 14r. So that would be negative 9 times negative 5 will be positive 45 and r. So therefore I'm going to put negative 9r and negative 5r. Now I'm going to go to the row now. So we have two rows. Row 1, the common factor will be r. Row 2, the common factor will be 5. Let's go to the column 1. So we'll take the inside divide the outside. So r squared divided by r, so that will give us r. And negative 9r divided by r, so that will give us negative 9. So therefore, our factor for the numerator will be r plus 5 over r minus 9. Now let's move on to the denominator. Now for the denominator, we only have it here. So I'm going to go ahead and put r plus 5 times r plus 6. Let's move on to the next fraction. So we have r squared minus r minus 42, which is we only this. So we have the factor r plus 6 times r minus 7. Now let's move on to the denominator. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and get a square again. So we have r squared, and then we have 63. So I'll put the top left and then in the bottom right, and we will multiply, so that gives us 63r squared. When you try to find the factor, and make sure that the sum of the factor have to be add up equal negative 16r. So if we take negative 7r times negative 9r, that gives us 63r squared, and then we add these two like terms, that gives us negative 16r. So I'm going to go ahead and put that two factor in the two empty box here, negative 7r and negative 9r. So let's start with row number 1. So row 1, r will be our greatest common factor. Row 2, 9 will be our greatest common factor. Let's go with column number 1. We'll take the term inside, divide by the greatest common factor outside, so it will be r inside divide outside, so that we give us negative 7. So therefore our factor will be r plus 9. Now there's sometimes you have to go back and check just to make sure that you found the correct answer. So I'm just go ahead and before I begin, I'm just go ahead and check it quick. So r times r is r squared. R times negative 7 will be negative 7r good. 9 times r will not give us negative 9r, so I have to put the negative here. And negative 9 times negative 7 is 63 good. So I'm going to put right here be r minus 7 times r minus 9. So let's look at the next one, the next box here. Let's check to make sure. So r times r is r squared, r times negative 9 is negative 9r, 5 times r is 5r, but we have negative 5, so I have to put a negative here. So I'm going to go back. I'll fix this so that it'll make it become a subtraction. Negative 5 times negative 9 will be 45. So that's good. Check r times r squared. R times negative 7 is negative 7r. 6 times r is 6r. 6 times negative 7 is negative 42. So this is check. R times r is r squared. R times 6 is 6r. 5 times r is 5r. 5 times 6 is 30. So this is our check. So now we're good now. So the next step we are going to do that we are going to go ahead and divide all the common factors. So let's see, do we have r plus 5 in the denominator? No. How about r minus 9? Yes, so we have r minus 9 in the denominator, so that will be one gone. Next one, how about r plus 6? Yes, we have it. And how about r minus 7? Yes, so what we have left, then when you go ahead and multiply, so we have left will be just r plus 5 on top on the numerator, and r minus 5 in the denominator. So this will be the conclusion for this video. Make sure you write out your own summary. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.